Hi, welcome to the Sanford Edible Garden Trail. We're here with John and Pauline's garden here in the western part of the Sanford Valley, and going to take a bit of a tour and see what he's got on for offer for us. So one of the first things that we'd like to start with is the bananas over here. So John has got a very nice variety of banana. It's quite a dwarf banana variety. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes, I've got two here. One I got from Jason, which is this bunch over here. It's the Ducas. They're all dwarf, and these ones at this end and the other end are Cavendish. The beauty of these bananas is because they're so small, they're easy to harvest, so you can harvest directly off the tree, and they're a lot easier to maintain, and they're a lot easier to protect from fruit bats and parrots and the like. I can show you here one that we're already harvesting. It's this one down here with the blue bag on it. This one has been going now probably for about 2 weeks or so. And you can see how many bananas have been on it. Each one of these hands is normally somewhere between 16 and 20 per hand. So you can see there's quite a few hands there, and there's still about another 4 or 5 hands to go. This will go probably for another a week or so, and then they'll be finished. Then we'll cut the tree down.
Now, if you didn't have the bag on there, you'd have all sorts of things coming at this.
Oh, the fruit bats would go through them overnight, and the parrots, especially the king parrots, they will eat them when they're green. So a beautiful bird, but they are terrible for doing those sorts of things.
And do you find that you get a bit of a taste difference by letting it actually ripen on the tree?
They're totally different taste on these to what you buy in the shops, because they're not picked when they're green, they're not force ripened, so they just ripen at their natural course. Some of them split. You've probably noticed a couple there that split, but we don't worry about that. So they are much nicer straight off the tree.
And sometimes, I guess you can see here, we got a bit of a lean with the tree, so you need to prop them up a bit just to keep them from going over. I guess, it's one of the wonderful problems to have when you've got so many hands on the banana plant.
When you've got about 150 or 160 bananas on there, there's a fair amount of weight. So the poor little tree does struggle a bit, so we have to do that. You'll see that the Ducas are a little bit bigger, but these ones are really well fed. So you can see the diameter of the trunk is quite large.
You want to go in there a bit more, John? See them closer.
These 4 here are yet to flower, but I would say that these 2 in the middle here should flower soon. And but the bananas will come down to about this height, so they're quite easy to harvest and they're easy to maintain.
I guess if you see the difference here, this is the, as John was saying, the dwarf Ducas, right? So still pretty, it's not a huge height, but the difference in terms of the height between, I guess, the dwarf Cavendish here and the Ducas is just amazing. I mean, that's like a scale down again from the Ducas.
Yeah.
So yeah, awesome variety, and this is one that was, I guess, sourced from within the Sanford Valley originally. I call it the John Clark banana. That's what I know it as.
As a matter of fact, these ones that I got here, the Cavendish, actually came from Redcliffe originally.
Oh, really? Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
well, I've had it for a few years now.
Yeah.
So.
I just know them as the John Clark banana. Cool. All right, so I guess the next thing that we wanted to touch on here is this, let's get you to come around this way, is this awesome structure here. Now you put this up fairly recently, John.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of piping and tubing, and a bit of netting as well, as a way to protect some of your plants here. A lot of citrus.
Basically, it's just an arbor, just to support netting, and I purchased all the pipework, and probably I've got as much as you can see still up at the house for very reasonable amount, and it's all recycled fencing from housing commission homes. So it was quite easy to put up, and it's like a Meccano set once you get the post concrete into the ground. But I wanted to protect the citrus that I've got in here from the cockatoos mainly, because they will go through your orchard in no time. And I like to keep all my trees small, because you don't tend to lose anything by getting quite a bit of fruit off a small tree. If you have a look at some of these, they're just laden at the moment. Last week when I was down here, it was just absolutely covered in blossom. And down the end there we have a Tahitian lime, and the next one is a blood grapefruit. This one here is a lemonade, a lemon, a seedless orange, and a blood orange. And you can see that they're just covered in blossom, and there's so much fruit on it. It's just unbelievable. And this is more than we can eat, and I guess you just need enough for yourself and for your family. I try to water them on the trees themselves once a week, just to keep the leaves clean, because that's what keeps the plant growing. And we run an irrigation system through the middle of it, which comes from a biocycle over here, so they get plenty of water.
So one of the things I'll just do, I'm just noticing on your trees. Now this is fairly normal. These are a few of the pests that you can get. So this is a sort of a bronze sucking bug, and this looks to be a bit of a fruit spotting bug maybe, but it's another one that basically sucks the plants. It can damage the fruit and stuff like that. So these are some of the citrus pests that you can get, and you can control them by doing this, which I'm just squishing them right now. Fairly easy to do, but if that one's a fruit spotting bug, they hit a lot more plants than just that. And they've got quite a scent to them. So things to look out for on your citrus trees.
Yeah, exactly. We've got pineapple growing in between these two, and all of these have been grown from just the tops off pineapples. I picked one down here a few weeks back, 2.3 kilos. Wow. There's one over there which will probably be ready in another month or so.
It's nice. And the mulch that you've got down here, that looks pretty good.
The mulch is all from the Carambola when I trimmed that back.
Okay, nice.
Bamboo, and from the mulberry.
Okay. Oh, the mulberry. The mulberry that you took out. Yes.
Yeah, well, I pruned. Yes.
You pruned it out of the ground.
Yeah.
Cool. And do you find with the treated effluent that you use along here, how do you find it goes with the mulch and all this sort of stuff? Do you mainly do the subsurface irrigation? Or you've got the sprayer?
It's underneath the mulch.
Yeah, underneath the mulch.
So nothing goes onto the fruit at all.
Yep.
It retains it, but I only turn that on maybe once a week, and that's it, because they're getting enough seepage, as you can see by the grass here. If you have a look at the rest of the lawn, it's looking pretty sad, but we haven't had much rain. But along here you'll see it's quite green, because it's actually leaching through the ground from the bananas. So the bananas have pretty much got it on them all the time. They drag up what they want, the rest goes into into the orchard. So, and even on the other side of the orchard, you'll notice that that is green as well. So it's obviously going all the way through. So there is we're recycling every ounce of water that we get. So.
Yeah, cool. So on the netting here, John, you were saying before that this one that you've used, it's a very
it's welded and it's not very good. It's very fragile, and I think anybody using any netting should probably use the knitted type one, which is much more robust and doesn't warp in its shape as much. But I'm actually going to replace this one. I'm going to put wire netting on the top and grow passion fruit. And let the passion fruit run, and they'll just hang on the inside so the cockatoos don't get it.
You can see just
there's one of those bugs
come
there.
around just around here, and you can see the bug right on the plant here, just right there. So this is a classic, and what they're doing right now is they're sucking right at the base of the fruit, and what happens is those fruits right now that are being impacted by that will not form up. They will essentially be aborted by the tree. So so yeah, just keep an eye out for them at this time of year, and then you can just do the hand control method that I was doing before. Just be aware that your hands are going to get super stinky. All right, shall we go down to this next section? So you'll see here, I guess, how the orchard really opens up a lot more. This is, I guess, what I sort of call more of a classic kind of open lawn style with some, nice specimen trees around, right? But they're all edible. And that's to me one of the things that always struck me about John's place originally, before I started getting this sort of denser planting here. It was very much a typical acreage kind of look, with some nice trees here and there, some lawns and stuff around, but they were all focused on edible and trees that you could get fruit off of.
And the reason for the angle of this this part of the orchard here is to work it like a swale, so that the water sheds down evenly across the bed. If you have it on an angle and it runs off to one end, you'll get scouring, and so it'll scour out. So this is you'll see here that the next one is going across here. They actually change a bit as they go across the swale, so you get a swale across the lawn. The next one is going in down here, but these trees have to come across, and we'll have the same arbor as this, but only coming out again off these posts here.
There's a few different, I guess, trees that you've got around here. So I guess one of the ones we wanted to touch on there is the tamarind. You've got some. Sorry, I was going to say also a couple of olives and stuff around there, but olives are a tough one to get anything producing in our climate. They're better in a more of a Mediterranean climate. So they need lots of water. So a bit of a warning, anyone in the southeast Queensland area, or places that don't have a lot of rain during the winter, olives you typically are not very successful with. But things like tamarinds and others are much more better suited to this climate. Do you use anything from the tamarind much? Or?
No. Well, I haven't, because every time we've had a crop on it, there's been some sort of weevil type thing gets into them.
Okay.
But this year seems to be really good for some reason, so we might try doing something with them this year.
Yeah, looks very nice. Nice looking fruit there.
Some big ones up there. See, those are real bean.
Cool. Yeah, look, it's a pretty tough tree. These ones, they can take a bit of drought. Being in the subtropics, being able to select trees that don't have to have too much love and attention all the time, take too much water resources is always a good thing to look out for. And certainly the tamarinds are one of those trees.
Well, even with the drought that we had last year, it just didn't look like anything was happening to it at all. It just carried on as normal.
Yeah, no, that's pretty tough, that's for sure. You've done some really nice pruning, I guess. Again, if you look to sort of around the orchard here, you've really opened it up underneath. So you've got this.
Yeah, it was getting very scraggy.
Yeah.
And I just chopped it and it was good. And mulched it and it got it back.
Yeah, that's true. That's right. And that's an important thing to be doing in your orchard, is to really recycle, all the material that you're getting from the plants that they're producing, and using it around the orchard. It's silly to sort of take that off somewhere else. So it's good that you do that. And you've got your own mulcher that you use for.
It'll take up to 65 mil, so it's quite good. It's pretty robust. So we get a lot of mulch out of it. And the good thing about the mulch is you know exactly where it came from, and you can let it age properly, so it's not drawing too much out of the ground.
Yeah.
And the bamboo, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just amazing for mulch. We've got so much bamboo here. Some good things and bad things about bamboo. It's all non-invasive.
Yeah.
But the mulch is brilliant. The
Yeah.
mulch from bamboo will last 2 years easily.
Yeah.
It's
high,
really good stuff.
high silica, so I think that helps to
it's really
slow
good.
down its
good.
breakdown. And you've got a flail mulcher, I guess, that you use for. Is it not? It's the Hansa.
That one.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah. As
Very
opposed
strong.
to a cutting mulcher where the blades can get sort of dull over time. That doesn't.
Oh no, it's got blades.
Oh, it does blades.
Yeah,
as well.
but they're hardened blades. There's 2 blades in it, and it's got a lot of kinetic energy because the blade system it sits on is very heavy. So it's quite good.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
It's very good.
All right, so I think one of the other ones we wanted to touch on here in particular was the peach.
Oh, the tropical peach.
Tropical peach. Bit of a look in here.
This is one I prepared earlier.
Really need to net and protect them if you're going to do it organically in these areas, because otherwise the fruit fly will be all through your fruit, and that's not a great result. So John, that's what you've done here, and
This is for cockatoos.
Oh, so cockatoos, but you can also get for the fruit fly as well.
Yeah, fruit fly probably go through that now.
But I've certainly found that this sort of thing really does slow them down.
This one is a bit small.
Yeah.
This net here is too small, really. I was down here yesterday and I found that there was a bee stuck in there, and I let it out. It got in through, like there's gaps in the nets, but it did get stuck in there. And I think this is only about 5 mil.
Yeah.
And I think you should really use 10 mil. 10 mil's fine. The bees just crawl in and out of it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, but the bad thing though with the bigger size is that if you weren't doing some other kind of control for pests, the fruit fly would get in there and pretty much.
I tried on the guava up the driveway there a few years ago. I made up a big bag for it out of shade cloth, and the fruit was terrible. The fruit fly didn't get them.
Yeah.
But they just didn't get enough sun.
Yeah.
Just not nearly enough sun. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. So I guess a few.
The small mango.
Yeah. Yeah, the mango over here. This has been a pretty good.
This one's a very good producer actually. I think we got about 100 off it last year, which is quite good. So it was us 100, I think bats about 80.
Yeah.
So it was until we netted it. So once we netted it, but when we net all the way down to the ground and stake it to the ground as well, because you have to be very careful that the bats don't get in there, because if they get in there then they can't get out. So it's but this needs trimming back. After this season I'll trim this back down again. I just try to keep them down to about 4 metres. And 4 metres is a good size for a tree like this. It's quite established now, and it can handle that. This weather should be good too, with no rain at the moment. It should be able to pollinate all the flowers, so it's quite good.
Yeah, you got quite a good variance in the flowering at the moment, which is good. mangoes that do that is great because it hedges your bets in terms of getting a wider, I guess, longer fruiting time. So here we've got a bunch of flowers that are, you know, pretty much right in full formation at the moment. Some closer to the end are probably actually even starting to fruit up a bit, whereas you got other ones here which are just starting to break out. And then I think even further up, you can see up there where it's this guy there. It's just starting to come out. Yeah. So that's actually a great attribute to have for the backyard gardener with your mango trees. Can't have enough mangoes in Queensland. That's what I say.
And speaking of flowering, the macadamia nut now is in full flower, so it's just gone crazy in the last week or so with the warmer weather coming on.
You got some, oh, the scent. Okay, so you're not going to be able to pick this up from the video, but the scent, oh, it's just fabulous. It's so honey rich, beautiful. Macadamias, and that's got to be, it's got to be the world's best nut.
Oh, it is. It's just beautiful.
It's a great,
and they're just covered in flowers at the moment too.
Yeah, great one to have. Particularly, it's a Queensland nut, northern New South Wales as well. But definitely an Australian nut. Beautiful. So how do you find with the harvesting them? Do you just get it off of
wait for them to drop?
Yeah, wait for them to drop. Yep. And what do you use to pick them up? Just your hands, or
I just pick them up. Yeah. What the cockatoos don't get.
Yeah. Well, rats can get at them as well. So.
Yeah, they can too.
But cool. All right, and maybe one other one we'll see before we to wrapping this one up.
This is a Carambola or star fruit, and I'm trying to keep the middle out of the tree and keep it so it'll go umbrella style. Then because the branches on these are quite soft, so as the fruit gets on them, the fruit will actually bring them down a bit. So I'm trying to get it to go more flatter. So I generally cut the middle out of it and keep them down low. But this is a fruit fly attractor. The fruit fly just love it. But they're beautiful fruit. They're very decorative too.
I find with carambolas, so you can often get sort of two main fruitings with them. One late summer and another one into the autumn. Yeah. The late summer, obviously you got a lot more fruit fly challenges there. But if you get them when they're just going from the green to a bit of a yellowish color, just as they're starting, they'll ripen fine inside, and you won't have the same fruit fly challenges. But look, if you let them go ripen up on the tree, it's game over in terms of the maggot supply. Is,
and for such a big fruit too, one seed.
Yeah,
it's really
But
strange.
and they will produce from seed. I actually have a few that are coming up from myself from actually the original tree that is now dead, unfortunately. But it's little seedlings are coming up.
And these have such a tiny flower. They're tiny little purple flower. And I don't think the European bees can actually pollinate them, because I've never seen them on it, but I've seen heaps and heaps of native bees. And we've got 2 hives up the back. So they just get right into it, and it's brilliant. But the flowers are so tiny, so these tiny little bees do their job. It's beautiful.
All right. Well, look, we'll wrap this installment up. We've got another live session that we're going to be doing on the back of this one. We'll be going to John's veggie garden at the back, and actually touching on. Certainly one of the things that I think is quite good with what John has done today is growing ginger. So stay tuned for that one. Thank you for joining us on the Sanford Edible Garden Trail. Take care.
Thank you for coming.